What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a couple under-the-radar Switch 2 announcements, just some things that I've seen online or some games that I wasn't able to talk about yesterday, and that's kind of really where I want to start. Two of them pop up right away, and one of them is Yakuza 0. Gotta chime in on this one. So, Resident, I've only been a fan for like the last 2.5 years, but it's consumed my life, the Yakuza franchise. This one kind of shocked me because I think we all expected Sega to like do something, and they are. I mean, I think 2 Point Museum, Sonic is coming. Like, there's a couple games. It's not just Yakuza that's coming to the Switch 2, but this is a launch game. Now, there's not that many Switch 2 launch games, so that's one of them. It's a launch game, and then it's a freaking director's cut. And this one's interesting because they also lead with, hey, this is a console exclusive, or at least for now, right? So the way that they say it, I believe, is coming first to Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's the exact words they use. So it will come to other things, and that's very, very good because, I feel like the Yakuza fan base is not necessarily on the Switch 2. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't give the games to the Switch 2, but I feel like they're elsewhere. They're going to want to play this. They might not want to get the Switch 2, so it's good to know they'll be able to get it. And then in terms of what it actually comes with, so like added stuff like new cutscenes. I believe it has like new dubbing as well. The new cutscenes, though, is interesting because it's like, what do you add and like where do you put it? Is it more Majima focused, more Kiryu focused? So that's, to me, that's almost reason enough. I mean, I guess also like maybe the enhancement kind of side of things and being able to play it on like a new place, like getting Yakuza 0 specifically on the Switch 2 does feel kind of neat. Especially, I don't know if it has a physical version. I haven't actually looked that deep into it. I don't want to see that it's $80 or $90 and have another heart attack. So, but if it does, like, I actually think that's a pretty cool thing. And then, of course, a multiplayer mode. So, pretty freaking cool. Again, I mean, I thought something Yakuza would come. I didn't really think it would be 0, even though maybe I should have known better. It's the one that really brought fans in, at least Western fans. It's really the game that exploded. Is that the right use of that word? It made the franchise explode. It brought in so many new people, and I thought it would probably be something like 7 or Infinite Wealth that would make, and maybe those games will eventually make its way anyway to the Switch 2, but doing Yakuza 0 is pretty freaking sweet. And second game is actually Hades 2. I have a third game that I'll mention in a second, but the second game, Hades 2, console exclusive, again, to start. So I actually have Hades 2. This doesn't affect me, I guess, all that much. However, it's such a good game, even in the time that I've played Hades 2 in the early access. Now, this isn't all that surprising based off what they already did with Hades 1 and that connection between Supergiant and Nintendo, but I have it in the early access on PC. I mean, like, that's the place to get it if you want to play it like right now. But when it comes to coming out on console, it's gonna come to Nintendo Switch 2 first. So that's pretty neat. I think they also said 2025. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Don't quote me on that. But I imagine the game comes out in its full form in a little while. It's definitely getting there in early access. But I think that's a big one. Hades 1. I mean, it won, of course, the Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Not that matters too much to that many people, but just a phenomenal game, right? Absolutely fantastic game, and pretty big too. So when we talk about these kind of games that are maybe like Mario Kart's going to sell, the FromSoft game's going to sell, there's a couple games that you kind of know. This is kind of a sneaky one that I feel like can sell just a couple million units just on its own, just on, say, a Switch platform. The final one was only a mention, but it was Silksong, right? So this is something I feel like you have to bring up. We talk about it so much on these channels. So we get a sizzle reel. I think there's a new art, like a box kind of art, and we get the game we get them saying that the game is 2025. I hoped that it would come out in 2025. It's also funny that Xbox chimed in like immediately, I believe, during the show to say, hey, just a quick reminder. You know what? It was them, I think, digging. It was them, I think, trying to get just like the clicks and the engagement to kind of just pull people and say, hey, remember this is happening. But also good to like double down on it because we last heard that it was coming on Game Pass years ago. I don't know if you could ever legally back out of something like that, right? But like maybe you could, so they can reconfirm that the game is going to be day one Game Pass. That's pretty freaking sweet. So because this one's not Switch 2 exclusive, you just get that sizzle reel, and for it to say that it is coming to Switch 2, which is awesome. I think that's a great. Hollow Knight feels like, I've never played it on the Switch, but it feels like a Switch type game, or a game that would benefit from that. At the same time, to get it on Game Pass is a pretty freaking sweet deal. And I guess the one one honorable mention just to kind of end this video, Mario Kart World. We talked about this. I made a whole video on podcast now, but it was only based off the first, like, the trailer, the 4-ish minute trailer. So we got a lot of, not necessarily impressions, or at least I didn't see a lot of impressions today, but you saw a lot of people literally playing it. So I guess we visually saw gameplay. That game looks freaking rad. Now, I'm not a huge fan of, like the roster expanding is something you kind of expect in like almost any roster type based game, but they're really kind of going crazy with like anything goes. I think they're doing, what's been reported is they're doing kind of what fighting games do, where like I think Dragon Ball, where basically skins are now characters. So if a character has 3 different skins, those are literally 3 different characters. I think the roster is like 80 or so plus. I think there's 28 levels, so that's pretty freaking sweet. I just saw quite a few different gameplay type videos. The game looks absolutely awesome. I also saw Donkey Kong, and that looked really, really good. That one's tough just because it's like these games, $70-$80, you know what I mean? It's like to get the Switch 2, to get Mario Kart, and then a month later to get Donkey Kong. It's not on the top of my list, Donkey Kong, but it does look really cool. I saw somebody, by the way, say that there's water-themed things in Donkey Kong, and it looked phenomenal, and that obviously drew my eye to it. So things are looking pretty good from the exterior. Obviously, there's a couple serious issues with the Switch 2 that we've already talked about, but these were a couple things, again, I kind of wanted to just throw out in a video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.